Hello and welcome patriots to our video about people, earth, and the ecosystem, in which we are going to talk about how people interact with the environment and how environment affects the people. Now, let us formally start our report. Let's start with me first. So, hello everyone. We are going to talk about environment. What does environment really means? Environment refers to the surroundings of an organism or community, including all living things and non-living things that affect. It encompasses everything from air we breathe and the water we drink to the plants, animals, and the climate around us. So basically, an environment is a surrounding condition in which a person or animal or plant lives and operates. It includes natural elements like air, water, soil, as well as human-made aspects like buildings, infrastructures, environmental factors, influence, health, behavior, and sustainability. In every environment, there is an abiotic and biotic factors. Now let's start with biotic. What does biotic mean? Biotic factors are the living components of an environment. This includes all organisms such as plants, animals, bacteria, fungi, and other living entities. These factors interact with each other and with other biotic factors, forming complex relationships and dependencies within the ecosystem. On the contrary, abiotic factors are the non-living components of an environment. This includes elements like sunlight, temperature, water, soil, air, and minerals. These factors influence the living organisms in an ecosystem by shaping the conditions in which they live. So, together, abiotic and biotic factors are crucial. They create a balanced and functioning ecosystem. So basically, together, abiotic and biotic factors are very crucial. They create a balanced and functioning ecosystem. And now, let's move on to natural environment. What does natural environment means? It basically means that the natural environment includes all living and non-living beings that are naturally occurring, which is not man-made. On a much broader state, the natural environment refers to all living organisms such as plants and animals, and non-living elements like water, air, soil that exist naturally without being influenced or created by human activities. This environment is characterized by ecosystem that functions independently, sustaining life through natural processes cycles. It includes forests, oceans, mountains, and other landscapes that are not man-made, providing habitats for countless species and maintaining the balance of our planet's ecological systems. Now, without further ado, let's move on to built environment. So basically, what is built environment? The term built environment refers to the human-made condition and is often used in architecture, landscape, architecture, urban planning, public health, sociology, and anthropology. Among others, these curated spaces provide the setting for human activity and were created to fulfill human desires and needs. On complexity, it basically means that the built environment encompasses all human-made surroundings that provide the setting for human activity. This term spans in a wide array of disciplines among architecture, landscape architecture, urban planning, public health, sociology. These environments designed to meet the human needs and desire, shape our daily lives, and influence both individual and collective experiences. And as you can see, based on the video and on our information we've gathered, 42% of urban spaces globally are shaped by the principles and practices of the built environment, reflecting the critical and role of human-made conditions in the shaping of our daily lives. Although the constructed environment is necessary for human civilization, in order to secure a sustainable future, it is crucial to strike a balance between development and the preservation of natural environment. And now, let us move on to the differences of natural environment and built environment. In terms of type, natural environment. This refers to the environment that occur naturally without human intervention. Examples include forests, rivers, mountains, and oceans. These environments have formed over millions of years through natural processes, volcanic activity, erosion, and natural evolution. However, on built environment, this refers to environments created by humans, including cities, buildings, roads, and infrastructure. These are artificial environments constructed to meet specific needs like housing, transportation, and industry. Now, in terms of their differences in creation, natural environments are formed through long-term geological and biological processes. These include the formation of mountains, the growth of forests, and the evolution of species, and the establishment of ecosystem. The process is slow, complex, and involves interaction, forces, and millions of years. On the other hand, built environment are created through human intervention and construction. This process is often rapid, driven by the need to accommodate human activities such as living, working, and transformation. These environments are planned, constructed according to human needs and desires. Now for their differences and distinction in objective. For the natural environment, this primary objective of the natural environment is to maintain ecosystem and support life. It provides habitat for the vast array of species, regulates climate, purifies water, and support the overall balance of the Earth's biosphere. The natural environment operates principles sustainability where replenished naturally. On the other hand, built environment, the objective of the built environment is to meet the needs and desires of people, as far as I've mentioned earlier. This includes providing shelter, facilitating commerce, offering spaces for social interaction, and supporting the infrastructure necessary for modern life. While the built environment is designed for human convenience, efficiency, it often requires significant alteration, destruction of natural materials. Now, in terms of their sustainability, natural environments are generally robust and sustainable, capable of self-regulation and renewal. Ecosystems within their natural environment have developed mechanisms for resilience and recovery from disturbances. However, when natural environments are excessively altered or degraded by human activity, their sustainability can be compromised. On the other hand, built environment are often unsustainable and can be potentially harmful for the natural environment. The construction of maintenance of built environments typically involve resource extraction, energy consumption, and pollution, leading to environmental degradation. Without careful planning and management, built environments can contribute to the pollution and climate change. So, for us to easily understand and as a summary of this report, the importance of balancing the development of built environments with the preservation of natural environments. While constructed environments are essential for human civilization, they can also be harmful to the planet if not managed responsibly. To ensure a sustainable future, it is crucial to strike a balance between development and the preservation of natural ecosystem. This balance is vital for maintaining biodiversity, ensuring the availability of natural resources and the mitigation the impacts of climate change. Overall significance. Now you might be asking, why is this significant and important? Well, the main reason for that is we need to reconcile with human development with environmental preservation. As populations grow and urbanization expands, the pressure on natural environment increases. Understanding the difference between natural and built environments helps in making informed decisions that prioritize sustainability and long-term environmental health. This has been your first reporter, Alkenn C. Ibañez. Let's move on to
the ecosystem. The ecosystem is a community of living organisms under non-living physical environment that interact as a unit. So we have two types of ecosystems, one in which is terrestrial ecosystems. This is a dynamic and diverse community of living organisms and their non-living physical environment found on land. These ecosystems play a crucial role in supporting life on Earth and providing essential services like oxygen production, climate regulation, and water filtration. So we have here forests. A forest is an area of land dominated by trees and animals that live in coordination with the abiotic factors of the environment. Grasslands. In a grassland ecosystem, the vegetation is dominated by grasses and herbs. The type of grassland is savanna. One type. Savanna is a tropical or subtropical grasslands with scattered trees. They are known for their dry seasons and wet seasons, which influence the type of plants and animals that inhabit them. You also have prairie, temperate grasslands with tall grasses and few trees. They are often found in North America and Eurasia, and their fertile soil have historically been used for agriculture. We also have steppes, dry grasslands found in continental climates, characterized by their arid conditions and sparse vegetation. Moving on to deserts. A desert is a barren area of landscape where little precipitation occurs and consequently living conditions are hostile for plant and animals. So we have two types of deserts. One in which is hot deserts. It is extremely dry regions with high temperatures and low precipitation. They often have sandy or rocky landscapes and support specialized plants and animals adapted to harsh conditions. We also have cold deserts. Deserts found in colder climates such as the Gobi Desert in Asia. They experience freezing temperatures and limited precipitation, making them challenging environment for life. The last one is tundra. Tundra in physical geography, tundra is a type of biome where the tree growth is hindered by low temperatures and short growing seasons. We have two types of tundras. The Arctic tundra, cold, treeless plains found in the Arctic region. They have permafrost, a layer of frozen ground that remains frozen year-round. Plant is limited, consisting primarily of grasses, sedges, and mosses. The last one is alpine tundra. It has high altitude regions with high cold temperatures and rocky terrain. They are found in mountain ranges around the world and support a variety of alpine plant and animals.
So, I am Sheena Laruya and I will be discussing the aquatic ecosystem. So, what is aquatic ecosystem? First, it is an ecosystem that present in a body of water. In other hands, it is a community of plants and animals that live in water environment. So, for example, the fishes and the lilies. So, aquatic ecosystem divided into two types. There are two types of aquatic ecosystem. First, the freshwater and the marine. So, freshwater, it is an ecosystem that includes the river, ponds, lakes, streams, and wetlands. It is also a low salt content. Unlike the marine ecosystem, it is an ecosystem that includes the oceans and the seas. So, it has a greater biodiversity in comparison to the freshwater. It is a bodies of salt water. So next is the structure of the ecosystem. So the structure of the ecosystem is characterized by the organization of both biotic and abiotic components. So when we say biotic components, it is a living things like plants and animals, and while the abiotic things, it is a non-living things like water and sunlight. It also, they work together, the biotic and abiotic components, to create a balanced environment. So, biotic and abiotic components, it also includes the distribution of energy in our environment. It also includes the climatic conditions prevailing in that particular environment. So let's proceed to the ecosystem diagram. So makita nato dira ang ecosystem diagram. Below the ecosystem, makita nato ang biotic and abiotic components. But below the biotic components, makita po nato ang producers, consumers, and the decomposers. Below the consumers, makita nato ang primary, secondary, and tertiary consumers. So first, the producers. These are organisms. Organisms like plants. They make their own food. They make their own food through photosynthesis. While the consumers, these are the organisms that eat organisms for their energy. So below the consumers, the primary consumers. The primary consumers, those are the herbivores. The secondary consumers, those are the carnivores that eat herbivores. And the third is the tertiary consumers. The tertiary consumers, those are the carnivores that eat carnivores. Next is the decomposers. Ang decomposers, muna siya ang mga organisms na like bacteria and fungi. Like bacteria and fungi that break down dead organisms and organisms matter into nutrients that can be used by producers. So let's proceed to the functions of the ecosystem. So there are 5 functions of the ecosystem, or what we call this explanation. First is it regulates the essential ecological process, supports life system, and renders stability. So they control the need or the important natural activities. And also they keep the things steady, and they help the life thrives. Next is, it also responsible for the cycling of nutrients between biotic and abiotic components. So, the nutrients, they move between living and non-living things, and also is ensuring that all organisms, they get what they need so that they can survive. Third is, it maintains balance among various trophic levels in ecosystem. So, they keep a stable, or they keep a stable relationship between different levels like plants, herbivores, and carnivores. And next is it cycles the minerals through the biosphere. So the living things, they ensuring that they get what they need. And the last is the abiotic components help in the synthesis of organization. No. The abiotic components help in the synthesis of organic components that involves exchange of energy. So they help create the organic materials by using energy from non-living things, or the abiotic things. So they can support the growth of the living organisms. Let's proceed to the food chain. So, ang food chain is, during the biological process, ang light energy can nag-convert siya into chemical energy. And also, nag-move na po siya sa producer to consumers. Ang producers, mo to siya ang mga organisms like plants. And ang consumers, mo to siya ang katong organisms that they eat organisms. To form their energy, or to find their energy. And also next is and finally sa predators or decomposers. So ang flow of energy through different levels is in nature is what they call food chain. So let's proceed sa example sa food chain. So first is ang grasshopper. The grasshopper eat grass, and the mice eat the grasshopper, and the snake eat the mice, and the eagle eat the snake. So when the eagle die, ang fungi mag-breakdown siya sa body ug ma-turn siya into nutrients. So the nutrients along with the sun and the rain or water, so that mag-cause siya or ang nutrients mag-cause siya og grass na mag-grow. So ang pasabot sa food chain is like what we call this, like balik-balik ra gyapon siya, like cycle lang gyapon ang iyahang panghitabo. And that's all. Thank you. And I am again Sheena Laruya, and that's all.
Did you know that we are losing species at a rate 1,000 times faster than the natural extinction rate? This alarming statistic underscores the urgency of studying species, populations, communities, and biodiversity. Defining what exactly species means can be a little tricky, because the reality we all sort of know what species is and what isn't. If we look at a group of animals, we know that a zebra and a lion are not the same species. But then, if it's so obvious how exactly do we define it, one way of thinking is that If they can produce offspring, they must be the same species. A zebra and a lion, for example, cannot produce offspring. But what happens if two different types of animals have babies? A zebra and a horse, for example, cannot produce offspring. They can produce something called a zebroid. However, the zebroid itself cannot produce offspring. If we were to mate two of these would not be able to produce offspring. Therefore, we can simply define species as a group of organisms that may interbreed and produce offspring that's also capable of reproducing the same kind. And by that, we mean offspring that can produce more offspring. Some examples of species are Homo sapiens or humans and Felis catus, which are the cats. And when multiple members of the same species are together in any particular area, they are now what we call population. Population is the second level of ecological organization. Every organism you can think of is a member of population. For example, all zebras in Kenya make up a population. Take note that all members of a population compete for the same resources, such as food, water, space, and mates. And when you have multiple populations in one area, you now have what is called community. A community is the third level of ecological organization. A community refers to the assemblage of interacting organisms, either of the same or different species, coexisting in a particular area in time. For example, in a rainforest, various species of plants, animals, and microorganisms depend on each other to survive. The interaction between species in a community help to shape its structure and dynamics. Factors such as habitat availability, resource abundance, and climate can influence the composition and diversity of a community. Next is biodiversity. Bio means life and diversity means variety. Hence, biodiversity refers wide variety of life on the earth, which means it encompasses all living organisms from the smallest bacteria to the largest whales, as well as the ecosystem they inhabit. There are three main levels of biodiversity. So first is the genetic diversity. Genetic diversity refers to the variation in genetic makeup within a species. This diversity allows species to adapt to changing environmental conditions. For example, ladybugs come in a variety of colors. The color is controlled by genes. This gives the species of ladybugs a greater chance of surviving as environmental conditions change. Also, think of the variety of dogs. The different shape of color of dogs are controlled by genes and either increase or decrease genetic diversity, which in greater genetic diversity increases the odds of survival of a species or population as the ecosystem changes. And the second main level of biodiversity is the species diversity, which is the number and variety of species in a given area. A high species diversity indicates a healthy ecosystem. Take a look at the variety of mushrooms collected from a particular forest. Notice how many different species are found in this area. This habitat would represent an area of high species of diversity. As species diversity increases, most likely the health of the ecosystem increases. And finally, the ecosystem diversity. Ecosystem diversity is the number and variety of species in a given area. The variety of ecosystems on Earth, including forests, grasslands, deserts, oceans, and wetlands. Each ecosystem has unique characteristics and supports different species. For example, rainforests usually have a high ecosystem diversity, and deserts or polar regions usually have a low ecosystem diversity. So there you go. Biodiversity, genetic species, and ecosystems. As these three increase, most likely the health of the ecosystem also increases.